Boy, oh boy.
That was loud.
That was loud.
I don't know what the dB meter was saying.
That, honestly, man, that sounds incredible.
Nice.
Yeah, really good. Hey, guys, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here, hello, and welcome to part two of Do We Like Transistor Amps part 2. So it's kind of part 2 too.
Yeah.
And the reason we've done this, the reason we've split them out is because we got very interested in the last video and we started comparing the Boss Next Tone Artist with a Vox AC15 and a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe. And if you're interested in that, please go and watch part 1 because it does inform a lot of what we're talking about in this video.
Yes.
And what were our realizations from video 1, Daniel?
That the first thing that I noticed was we compared it to a Vox AC15. The Vox AC15 has such a strong character that even though the EL84 setting on the Next Tone does a good job of that, the slightly tighter EQ thing, it doesn't sound like a Vox. However, comparing it to the Deluxe Reverb, is that right?
Hot Rod Deluxe.
Hot Rod Deluxe. God, one day I'm going to get that right. I don't know why it just won't go in my brain.
Yes.
Okay.
Because information that's not important to you doesn't go in.
Right, fair enough.
That's what it is.
Right. Thanks, Derek. But yeah, so comparing it to the Hot Rod Deluxe, it did a stellar job.
It did a good job, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, we should just make the point that, the reason we're doing this is because it's a kind of a reappraisal of some more modern transistor amps that do things a lot better than we remember them doing 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Yeah, and the name of the game isn't trying to make them sound exactly like this amplifiers. No,
the name of the game is to
amps.
see, but we know these amplifiers, and it's just to sit next to these amplifiers and see, where does it sit in this?
Yeah, because our issue, I think, if I may speak for you, Daniel, is that the problem with, or our problem, let's put it in inverted commas, with many transistor amps is that they don't react and feel in a way that we find enjoyable in the way that our valve amps do, which is not to say better or worse. Let's get it said. It's just to say that it's something that you learn over many years and something you get used to, and therefore it's a familiarity. So, however, time moves on, tech moves on, and it seems like there's a new batch of things that may satisfy in a different way from our perspective. Should also say in video 1 that we didn't even get into all the Next Tone's other features like the effects loop, the onboard delay, all
that stuff.
Various sounds you can have straight off the top panel. It's got its own overdrive, but
the boosts, the editor, you can go and change the
it has a whole computer editor thing, so you can change stuff at granular level if you want to. Dan and I tend to approach amps from a higher headroom cleaner setting and how they react with pedals, which is really what this is about. So it's not a Nextone demo. It's more about how do they fit in our context and in our world.
Yeah, nice.
Is that fair?
Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
because these days on the internet, Dan, you have to justify everything you do, otherwise 18 million people jump down your throat. I got when I did the replace the bridge on Blue just recently, and I made a video about it, and I got moaned at for everything from using a poor quality screwdriver
to the way that you soldered the thing.
I mean, I'll never admit to being a good soldering person. My soldering is awful, but anyway, thank you, internet. But moreover, thank you to the people who genuinely do enjoy this show and say nice things. Those are the things we'll concentrate on. Shall we move on?
Cool. All right.
Because we appreciate you guys, and we know you enjoy this, and that makes it worth doing. So
Oh yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Thank
Honestly,
you, thank you,
lots
thank
of love.
you.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
So what we started out there was a wet dry setup, which we so we didn't do that in part one. So we have all of the delays and reverbs and swirly wonderfulness going to the Nextone, and just the gain pedals going to the Hot Rod Deluxe. The wet dry thing. I'm yet to hear two amplifiers put together in a wet dry context that just don't sound epic.
Yeah, we've made a recent video on Ultimate Wet Dry, and if you're unsure about how it works, please watch that, because there are diagrams that explain exactly how it works. And one of the reasons we've done this is because Dan and I both use wet dry rigs as our basic normal playing rigs, and I'd like to know if there is a smaller, neater, more practical, transportable solution that will keep me happy.
Right.
Because clearly there's many that one could use, but at what, where is the compromise between stuff that you can use and stuff that you are really happy and feel inspired using? So
absolutely,
we're kicking this part of the video off with a bit of wet dry. We've heard the Nextone a lot in the previous video, so then we're going to swap out have a listen to the Quilter 101.
Perfect.
As well.
Perfect.
Should we just have a quick look through that wet dry and talk about what you heard in the intro?
Yeah, please.
Have a play of this, Dan. So here's the sound of the Hot Rod Deluxe on its own. Here's the Nextone on its own. It's ridiculously loud.
When they couple together.
Which is another reason why we're enjoying it so much.
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn it down a tiny bit.
No worries.
It's still peaking high on the dB meter, but I can tell you that it's... Did it feel much quieter?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So there's the two amps together. Now what we do with the two amps on, in fact, if I just put the Nextone on again, which I think is this one.
Gone.
Is that all right?
Gone. Awesome.
So what you heard at the end there was varying combinations of wet, dry. The Boss being the wet amp, the Fender being the dry amp, and I was just switching stuff on and off.
Yeah, okay. So that works really well.
And it was loud.
Yeah, loud.
It was loud.
Boy,
It was
boy.
great. So you've heard the next tone. You've heard it enough. I think we're fans. I'm struggling to find a reason why I wouldn't use it
Yeah.
in a 2 amp setup.
It is it's that thing is, okay, it's a gig. We've got a drummer and a bass player. There's a, it's not necessarily a leap of faith, but there's that thing where you're so familiar and comfortable with
Yeah.
the things that you know, and that is a step outside.
Yeah.
But it sounds so good
Yeah.
that, just playing it then, would have no problem whatsoever.
Oh, it's killer. It just
You know.
it sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. As an amp on its own, personally speaking, probably doesn't have like the headroom and the
Yeah.
the chimey thing and all of that I love in the 2 Rock, which is just endless.
Your 2 Rock.
Band, it's just like, it's colossal. But I would happily shove that next to it as the wet amp.
I've heard no amplifier in the world that does what your 2 Rock does.
It's a unique thing, isn't it?
It is crazy. And it's really funny, like, doing band stuff with you. And, and it happened a few times while we were rehearsing, and I'd get amplifiers set up and go, yeah, this is it. I've got my sound. And then you turn the 2 Rock and I'd go, oh, crap. And I have to start again.
I think Dan's being magnanimous.
No. It's, and got there in the end.
Yeah. No,
but
it's
it's
just different, isn't it?
Yeah, the 2 Rock is
And not everybody,
anyway.
not everybody gets it. It's not for everybody,
No,
for sure.
no,
And
sure.
Some people really don't like it, in fact. But
Yeah.
so, and that's really that, just to underline that personal preference thing. But absolutely, doing the wet job. I'm going to try it actually.
Yeah.
But
Right.
the thing that I actually want to try is something even smaller and even more portable. So, to wit,
To
we mentioned the Blue Guitar Amp 1, and there's a section where we talk to Thomas Blug, and we hear that in all its glory in part 1 of this. So everyone is telling us about Quilter. Quilter, American company, make solid state transistor amplifiers.
It's important, I think, just at this stage, to differentiate between solid state amplifiers and digital modeling amplifiers as well. So this is all still analog.
I presume so, yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to digitizing your signal and then converting that and manipulating it there. This is done with components. There is digital technology in the next tone in the EQ section, but the input stage and the output stage is analog. That where you select between the 4 power stages, that's all done analog. So I'm not exactly sure if this doesn't have any digital technology in it, but I don't believe so. I believe it's just all solid state.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, it's just, honestly,
It's hilarious.
it's maybe that's part of the issue. Maybe the issue is I grab this and go,
that can't be any good.
how can it be,
Well, let's have a listen then. So,
but that would fit in my guitar gig bag.
yeah. Now the next issue about all of that is then you're tempted to go, well, what about direct? What about IRs? What about in-ears? At this point in time, that is a step too far for me because I
absolutely.
love the sound of a guitar speaker
Yep.
and nothing else.
Yep.
full range
Agreed.
flat response. It's all good. You can use it in the studio. It all works. You could use it live if you want. It works. It's functional, and many people do. But for me personally, that feedback of guitar through speaker is still essential. So a nice cabinet and a nice speaker in my world and your world at this point in time is essential,
Absolutely.
isn't it?
Yep.
Tis
Absolutely.
For me. Tis
Yep.
for me. Part of that, actually, just on the last bit of that, is down to the fact that although Simon did an epic job of doing
Sound
sound
at
at
the gig.
our gig and for the TPS band, he's not going to be there every time, and he's not, and whoever is doing sound is
We'll get Simon to have a chat to them beforehand.
you're in their hands by that point, and then you're reliant on monitors and stuff. And the majority of gigs that I do don't have a very sophisticated sound
Sure.
system, so you're relying on what your guitar amp can give you, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm just not prepared to give that up.
Absolutely.
Yet.
Agreed 100%.
Right, I'm going to pull the next tone out, and if you want to hear more of the next tone, watch part 1, and we're going to replace it with the quilter.
Cool. And we're back in the room.
Back in the game. Okay, we've set up the quilter. It is the 101 Mini Reverb model.
Cool.
It's going through a WGS12L speaker, so it is like an EV type speaker.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
it's very efficient. It's not adding a tremendous amount of colour to the sound. It's just quite a pure
Right.
sounding speaker. It's the speaker that I use all the time with my 2-Rock and also Victory V40 Deluxe. I like the speaker.
Right.
So it's not a speaker that I'm unfamiliar with.
Sure.
But what I haven't checked, Dan, is the old microphone positioning. So I better just do that. All right. So here is the quilter. Cool. So that's kind of similar sounding.
Yeah.
Got it. Got the EQ in a similar place. You might disagree through your headphones. Please watch that pedal show through headphones, or some decent speakers of some kind.
Surround sound 5.1.
I hate it, but you love it.
Dan Mick.
All right, let's listen to some overdrive pedals then.
Okay.
So, Hot Rod Deluxe. I think the quilter might be a bit quieter.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really, again, yet another reminder of just how much more strident that guitar is than this. So I set all our levels on that guitar and this one just disappears. It's all good. It's all good. We will continue.
Very interesting.
Again, that Hot Rod Deluxe has just got that upper mid cut thing. Where's the mids on the Quilter? Where is the mid frequency?
Let's have a look.
Okay, it's there. I think the Quilter's a bit louder.
Yep.
Might be a bit too much on the old mid. Near enough.
Yeah.
Absolutely near enough, and seems to... I've got an earth problem somewhere there, Dan, you're going to have to sort out for me.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely get the chewy of the Tube Screamer.
Very interesting.
Dude?
Yeah.
So the EQs are different, which could be down to the cab, could be down to the speaker. Clearly, this isn't like a scientific clinical A/B test. It's given what you've got. Can you dial it? Where are the frequencies? Seems to be reacting to the pedals very nicely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one surprise in this episode and in part one. One of the things that's really surprised me is how well they take the overdrives.
Yeah.
Because that's not my experience in years gone by.
Yeah. See, originally when the solid state amps first came out, they were keyboard amplifiers, mini PA things with a different badge, and they were so completely full frequency. And some of them had a sound, and it was cool, but the big thing was you plug an overdrive into them and they just sounded so fizzy and harsh and horrible. then technology moved on. The JC120 came out, and loads of people use that and get some really good sounds out of it. Is that the amplifier that Albert King used for a time?
I don't know.
He's definitely used, I think so. And I mean, he had one of the greatest tones of all time. Now, whether or not there was specifically with that amplifier, but there was things that you could do when those amplifiers started coming out, more specifically designed to be used with guitar.
Yeah.
They started to address that problem.
I think with guys like Albert and BB and
They plug into anything.
yes, obviously, but there was so much unique about them that they're going to bend it back
Yeah.
to whatever their sound is. And
Sure.
you know, the sad fact of the matter is, neither me nor you nor anybody watching is Albert or BB, and you know, the best thing we can do is to try and sound a bit like them. But
I told you my Randy Bachman story, didn't I?
you did.
I did. Okay, all right. But that was that experience.
Yeah.
You know, you can probably edit that bit out.
In a previous video years ago, Dan told an awesome Randy Bachman story, which culminated in Randy Bachman sounding awesome through an amplifier that Dan could not make sound good.
Dan, or the
At
other
all.
guitar player, Matt Backer, was struggling just trying to get this thing, and we apologised to Andy. Randy has turned out. He goes, no worries, man. Took out his Gretsch, plugged in, and it was taking care of business.
Yeah.
And we just we looked at each other going,
Yeah.
you know. So some people can do that.
Yeah. And for anyone who says tone is all in the fingers, here you go. Can you hear that? It's not all in the fingers. All right. It's in this and that as well. Good. All right. Where are we then? So we've listened to The Dude. I'm
Yep.
liking The Dude at the moment. For anyone interested in that, the sort of Dumbly. It's the reason I like it is because it's got bass and treble controls, and I can just get it exactly where I want it. But that's what I'm using it for.
Oh, it's interesting. There are lots of overdrive pedals that have got that sort of active Baxter Dolly Q type thing that I really struggle with, because they always there's a harshness to them.
Right.
But that doesn't have that.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful.
It's nice for that heavy overdrive
Yeah.
sound. I really love it, actually. And as you heard in the wet dry bit at the beginning, it stacks very nicely with the tube screamer. So we've heard the Dude, we've heard the Maxon. Shall we give it a real test and try the fuzz?
Yeah.
We decided that the
Yeah,
fuzz
yeah.
sounded okay into the Hot Rod Deluxe, which you might not think. It's an Analog Man Sunface BC183. I'm just going to have to check that. Look at this. What's under here?
Oh, surprise, surprise. This is where I live now.
There you go. BC183. Told you. That's how to set your fuzz face.
Who turned the lights out?
Daniel,
Right.
so where are we? We are in
We
the...
are in the...
Yeah, Quilter.
I played a bit of So What in a couple of videos ago. Lots of people going, whoa, first time I heard Mars on there. So there you go.
Nice.
But that clean tone is...
Won't work.
So, clean tone. All right. So,
Just as he was saying how much he liked the clean tone, I decided to switch on the Bad Bob booster because I know that Dan likes a bit of clean boost in his clean tone.
I love that. So now this is going to be really interesting to see how the fuzz works with a tone like that.
Okay.
Right. So that's really interesting because of all the top end it has in the clean sound, that didn't carry
Loses
through
it.
with the fuzz.
Is that an input impedance
That's
thing?
I don't know. Let me just make sure that limiter's turned all the way off for a second. Let's try that one more time.
Can you have a go with the volume control as well on your guitar?
Yeah.
I just want to try one thing. I want to add like a buffer, cleanish buffer, after the fuzz and see what that does to the that top end.
Sure, yeah.
For me, adding so what I did, I switched on in this Maxon Analog Man modded Maxon AD9. It has an inbuilt Bad Bob boost,
So clever.
which is a relatively full range, fairly cleanish boost. And I've added that after the fuzz because there was so much top being lost into the quilter, and it seemed to put it much closer to what we were hearing through the. So it's don't skin any cats, but it's another way to skin the cat. I can't even say that. I'm a bit of a cat fan. It's just another way to do it.
Sure.
So you can achieve it by adding a bit of EQ after, or boost, or buff, or whatever. But yeah, fuzz is always the tricky one, isn't it?
Always tricky.
Yeah.
Always tricky.
Always the tricky one.
Yeah, but it didn't sound bad. It sounded great.
Not at all that. I mean, there are many people who will prefer that smoother sound than the kind of all the treble through the hot rod. However, what happens in a band mix is that's when you step on your fuzz and you go, oh, I can't hear it anymore.
That's right.
Sounds totally brilliant.
Yeah.
Here I am playing, but sorry, mate, you were going to say?
No, just I want to hear that with the humbuckers.
Yeah, I want to hear the quilter just with the guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're quite a way up on the treble.
Mm.
On the what I might try and do is just turn this input gain up. See if that gives us any more treble in the quilter. Now it's just breaking up a bit. So let's come back from there. Sorry to all the people who do and can play jazz, because I know they're popular in that market, and you can kind of see why. But a very, very different EQ. So I will, for the purposes of illustration, here we are on the quilter. Simon may already have got this, but I'm just going to tell you. That's where we were for the last bunch of settings. So quite radical EQ, and we weren't hearing much presence out of there. So whether that would change with impedance and speaker, quite possibly. And here we are for the settings on the Hot Rod Deluxage.
The interesting thing of the quilter is the reverb has plenty of top end in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe that's just the warmer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, different with the single coils.
A very different EQ, which again you can tweak. I was messing around with the EQ there, just trying to see the mid frequency's a little higher than it might be in some other amps, so that might give you a little bit more cut and top as well. Okay, wet dry, Daniel.
Wet dry.
So we've got the Quilter set for wet at the moment, I
Yep,
believe.
yep.
Have we? Let's prove that. You heard the Quilter with some effect on it. You heard the Hot Rod Deluxe dry, and now there was me thinking it was momentary. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally, yeah.
I think that kind of proves a point that maybe we don't love the Quilter as much as we like the Next Tone because of the EQ, and that's a completely personal opinion.
And that could change with the speaker and the guitar that you're using and
Yep.
all that stuff.
But in a wet dry setting, it sits absolutely
Perfect,
great. It
yeah.
sits great, and it seems to react to the overdrives great. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you can have an amplifier that is so light, and I mean, yes, you've got the speaker then to consider as well, but as far as a practical wet dry rig, add that to whatever you've got.
There we go.
Happy days.
Right, so we're going to wrap up. We're going to go full circle
Okay.
back to where we were at the beginning, which is we were talking about Thomas Blug. We put him in. I just want to put the amp one in
Great.
for some sounds at the
Yeah,
end
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Let's have a quick listen to that, and then I think
We'll be done.
we have we've taken some serious steps towards curing our absolute phobia.
Yeah, yeah. It certainly answered the questions that I've had about solid-state amps and where they sit with what I'm wanting to hear. You know, for example, the AC15 that we had on before, the crunch and everything that it has going straight into it, you know, that's that sound, and I love that. But then add a bit of openness from the Next Tone, or from a solid-state amplifier that's set up to be open and not set up to be sounding like a crunching 15-watt amplifier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let it do its thing.
Yeah.
Open, and use that as the wet side. Magic.
Happy days.
Magic.
Okay, let's have a listen to the amp one then, which I believe is here. So absolutely no issue with high end there.
No.
I know. I can't remember what was in the bit with Thomas in part 1 because we haven't watched it for so long. But I know Thomas, being such a prolific live player, and given the amount of gigs he does, his understanding of treble and presence and live cut mix is always present. It was always present in most of the Hughes and Kettner amps, and it's present in this as well. There's plenty of it.
Yeah, and we've both heard him actually do this live with the band and stuff, and you know, it's all there.
It's all there. So. Mid-range, quite a lot of mid-range.
Yeah.
Again, there's some other pots on the side that we could spend tweaking. You did hear the amp 1 extensively in part 1, so we're not going to really get into that. I just want to hear it in a wet, dry thing. So.
When you kick the clon on,
Yes.
best sound we've had all day. That was awesome.
Yes.
Yes! That's epic. Epic.
It was loud, and you know, people always say that we only like loud sounds. It was loud. It was nice and loud. But
boy, oh boy.
Great. Well, it kind of answers my question.
Yeah.
Definitely answers my question. I'm super happy. Super happy to use, I would say, any of those.
Yeah. There's something, especially with the wet sounds, with all the delays and reverbs on top of each other.
It's cause for celebration, Dan.
I believe so.
Disco's a new thing. It is the new thing.
It is. It is. Oh boy. There we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I am over the moon with that. It's brilliant.
What's it going first? Disco's a new thing.
It is.
Everyone's telling me soul music is done. It's disco.
There you go. Again, hope you enjoyed that, guys. Thank you so much for watching. A massive thank you to our patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for supporting us. We really appreciate it.
We do. We absolutely do.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Massive thank you to our preferred retailers who pay us a little bit of money every month for us to say their names at the end of the video. But we do know these guys, and they're great guys.
We do.
We've bought things off all of them.
There are other people that would give us more money to say it, probably.
Yes.
We say no to that.
We do, because these guys are, we like these guys. So in the UK
awkward.
and Europe is...
Andersons of Music of Guildford in Surrey, who will be hanging out with at NAMM.
Yes. In Australia.
Will be Matt at Pedal Empire in Brisbane, Queensland, who we're hanging out with at NAMM.
Yes. And in the US of A...
will be Joe Leach and the very, very lovely people at Riff City Guitar of various loci, who we will be seeing at NAMM.
What's NAMM?
We've got a plane to catch.
We do have a plane to catch. Brilliant. Also, a massive thank you to everyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and got a t-shirt or a mug or a hat or a D&M drive even. And some strings that are on the way.
Kurt Mangan strings. We started using Kurt Mangan strings and we like them a lot.
We do.
Dan's
Wonderful.
decided on his gauges today.
Yes.
More news soon. Anyway, let's finish this video.
Thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic week. We'll see you soon.
Cheerio.
Bye-bye.